So welcome. So I just want to preface this class saying that, when I was a little girl, I used to read a lot of stories of Hasidim. My mother, may she be blessed and be well, Cassandra knows my mother. She used to read me stories of Baal Shem Tov, stories of the old Hasidim in Europe, of the old days of old, and people even in Morocco or different countries. In the olden days, as we would say, people were not on such a very high necessarily wealth level. A lot of the Hasidic leaders, a lot of the people were very, very poor. And it seems like something virtuous. Like if you're poor, it's a virtuous state. Like, wow, look at this person, doesn't have anything and serving Hashem from poverty. And that's the sense I got from reading a lot of stories. Hi, welcome, Eli. And the Rebbe completely shatters and breaks that whole notion of that maybe it's a virtuous thing to be lacking and to not have wealth. The Rebbe says we're all wealthy, we need to be wealthy, and it's a mitzvah to be wealthy in a way. It's like not one of the 613 commandments, but it's our natural state of being as Jewish people. I'll even read to you the footnote because I don't want to leave this out. I don't want to forget this footnote. So I'm going to actually start with this footnote just in case so I don't gloss over it. It says over here, there are quotes from the Tikkunei Zohar, which is the Zohar, from Kabbalah, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. It says, Bnei Yisrael, the Jewish people, are called Melachim, kings. They're called tzaddikim, righteous. They're called chozim, which is people who can tell the future or see things in a better way. Chozeh is somebody who can see things. Nevi'im is prophets. Marei Torah, people, I guess, teach Torah. Marei is Torah, yeah, teach Torah. And Giborim, they're courageous. Chasidim, they're righteous. A chassid does things beyond the regular measure of the law. Nevonim, they're Nevanim, they understand things, they're understanding. Chachamim, they're wise. Rashi al-Faisal, they're leaders of the Jewish people. So those are 10 names that the Jewish people are called to. And this is a footnote, part of the footnotes of what the Rebbe brings, that he distincts, and he said that it makes a distinguishment. We're not supposed to even see ourselves as sons of kings. Each Jew is supposed to see themselves as a king. So we have to take the Rebbe seriously. That's how I feel. It's not just a nice idea that the Rebbe just throws out there. It would be nice if we felt that way. If the Rebbe is bringing this out, that we're all supposed to feel like wealthy kings, that's something to take to heart closely. But let's see it inside. The Rebbe starts it with a whole long question about. One of the main questions at the beginning of this sikha, which I'm not going to go into all the back and forth, but one of the main questions is why is the order of the things that the people brought to the Mishkan in the order that it was, where it says gold was brought first. There's something special about the gold, and there's a lesson about bringing gold as the gifts to the Mishkan and the tabernacle in the desert. The Jews brought all kinds of wonderful things: copper, silver, gold. Beautiful stones. They and they brought other the shittim, the wood for the beams, and they brought things that the tapestries and leather things to cover the Mishkan, all kinds of stuff. The first thing that's mentioned that they brought is gold, and the Rebbe says, why gold first? Gold, it's not in the order of importance, because there were things that were less expensive and things that were more expensive, or less common and more common than the gold. So it's not in the order of importance. And it's also not in some other order. I forgot which was the other order you would think it might come in. Of how much there is or how much there isn't, maybe. Because there's less value. It's more common to have copper, less common to have silver, less common to have gold, but even less common to have precious stones. So it's not also an amount of how much they brought of it, because it wasn't used so much as much. There were certain things that were used more than others. So it's not in the terms doesn't, in terms of like the practical measurements of why the gold is mentioned first, it has nothing to do with practicality. It has to do, the Rebbe says, more with the lesson that we're learning from it. And the lesson that the Rebbe wants to bring out is that we're each supposed to be, or we all are, like gold. Okay, but let's see it inside. I don't want to leave out too much. And really, I'm going to be learning this class more in depth. This week, I'm going to be teaching it every morning, LA time, 6:30, God willing, hopefully, if I wake up every morning, on Zoom. And it's not, or I guess I'll put it on 2 Zooms, because I'm going to be doing it, I guess, on this Zoom. For those who don't know, there's another Zoom that's somebody else's class. I'm just taking over her class, Nachamadina Zivol's class, this week, every morning, 6:30. So I'll put 2 Zooms on, hers and mine. One will be on the phone, one will be on the computer. And I'm going to do this sikha in more depth from inside, like word for word, God willing, with hopefully with footnotes and everything. But now I'm going to give you like maybe a teaser, like a kind of like a little, some of the main highlighted points from this sikha. So here we are, Parshas Truma 57:52, 1992. Okay, first of all, too much. We're coming in the month of Adar, so he's also going to connect this to happiness because of Adar. So let's delve inside. Already gave you the question. This was more the question. Hold on. Okay. So here's the Yesh Lomar, the Rebbe's answer to this question and what we need to learn. There's something to learn from the gold that is mentioned as the first gift that was brought to the tabernacle. So the Yesh Lomar, this is the Rebbe's Chiddush, the Rebbe's insight, the Rebbe's new understanding that he wants us to take to heart. But before he gives us this huge understanding, he's going to explain the whole concept of what it means to have the tabernacle, what it has to do with us also. So what was the tabernacle? Each and every person was supposed to take something and donate it to the tabernacle. Even the women brought stuff. And even the Rebbe says the little children brought stuff. And also the commandment to bring this, to make this tabernacle, was to make Hashem dwell inside of them. So it is, according to the Rambam, everybody had to do something to help with the Mishkan, whether it was to build it, whether it was to actually, physically work on it, or with their money. And everybody took part of it, men and women. Welcome, Tova. So now, the Rebbe says we have to understand, there was something that happened, an unbelievable new thing that happened when they took part in the Mishkan. Till then, there was no physical place down here below in this world that Hashem dwelt in. As it says, I will dwell amongst you. And the Navi, there's the prophet that says, is it possible the heavens are so grand and so vast? There's not enough space, so to speak, in heaven that God needed to come actually down to this our little physical abode in the tabernacle. Why is it specifically here that Hashem chose to bring his providence, his Shekhinah to dwell? Why is he there coming to talk to the Jewish people? Okay, also it seems, the Rebbe says another thing, if we're going to make this unbelievably holy place for Hashem, you would need very high-level people to build it. Why is it that each and every person, men, women, and children, each and every one had to take part in it? It wasn't just done by a select few who are on a very high meritorious level. Okay? Okay. We're talking about the actual bringing the Shekhinah down into, dwelling amongst us, amongst the Jewish people. We are able to make a Shekhinah, a dwelling place inside each and every one of us. Okay. Meaning the actual tabernacle, was mostly Betzalel, but it says V'shechamti b'tocham, that Hashem made it that he dwelled amongst each one of the Jewish people, not just amongst Bezalel. So even though there was some people who, like Bezalel, who did the main work, but everybody had to take part, and then the Shekhinah dwelt in each and every person, not just in a select few. So still, the Torah says, whoever's not muted, please mute yourself. Okay, it's not just men, not just special men. It's men, women, and children. And how is it possible that every simple person, even a child, has this power to make this unbelievable new concept that there will be the Shekhinah dwelling in a physical home, in this physical world, in our physical places, like our physical bodies, in each and every one of us. Something that it's like an unbelievable concept. God is beyond this world. I'm just gonna mute somebody here. Here, there we go. Yeah. Okay. So it's an unbelievable concept that the Rebbe is saying that we're each commanded, men, women, and child, to make a dwelling inside of us in this physical world. Like it is our job to look at the world and say, how can I make this world holy? How can I make myself holy? How can I make my home holy? How can I make my objects, my physical objects, holy? That's our job. And it seems this is incredible. Like, what? Take Hashem, a big Hashem, and put him into a little small, physical object. Okay, so and it's my job and it's my kid's job. So this seems a little like profound, right? Okay. So the Torah says that the Mishkan really, the whole building, the whole tabernacle depended on the Jews giving from their money, giving from their helping out of each and every Jew, whether it's men, women, and children. And how is that possible? That we bring Hashem to dwell in us and ourselves, something that would seem like God is not able to be present in a small little person like me, or a small little thing like my things and my little activities and my little daily life. So also it says that when they took the Truma, they took these donations to the Mishkan, it had to be for Hashem's sake. It says, Ve'khu Truma. The parsha starts out, take from me the gift. It didn't say take the gift to the Mishkan or donate to the Mishkan. It said, Hashem says, take to me the Truma. And what are we're giving something to Hashem? Like God needs our gifts. It's not that we're giving it to Hashem. The whole point is that what he says, the rabbis explain, is that we have to do it l'shem shamayim. The point was that we're giving it for Hashem's sake. That we're doing it not just for our sake, not to have our plaque on the wall, we donated, or to do it for some other reason of being afraid of being FOMO, being left out maybe, but to do it for Hashem's sake. So there had to be a kavanah, not just giving. They had to do it for Hashem's sake, to do it because Hashem wants it, to please Hashem. And it seems also like something like this is a high level and wouldn't be a commandment that should be given to each and every person. It seems like also only, the Rebbe says, maybe high level people are on this level of bringing the gifts to the Mishkan because Hashem wants it and just for Hashem's sake, right? There's certain mitzvahs that we know also for sure have to be done with special kavanah for Hashem's sake. If not, it's not, the mitzvah doesn't work. And the two examples that I know of that are brought here are to write a Sefer Torah. If a person who's writing the Sefer Torah doesn't have an intention that he's doing it for Hashem, then the Torah is not 100%. It can't be used as a Sefer Torah. And the other thing is when a person's giving a divorce, he also has to do it for Hashem. He has to have kavanah, intention when he's doing it. If he doesn't have the proper intention of giving the divorce, then it doesn't also, it could be problematic. It doesn't necessarily hold. So there's certain mitzvahs that you have to have a kavanah, but there's very few, okay? Only two that I know of and that are brought here, those two. But most mitzvahs, whether or not you did it with the right intention, even if you did it for the wrong intention, you did it because, let's say, you're afraid of punishment, or you really wanted to benefit yourself with it, you wanted certain reward or certain honor, it's still considered a mitzvah. And because the rabbis say, if you didn't do it with the right intention, Hashem will eventually help you come to do it from the proper intention. Whereas here in the Mishkan, it says they had to make the Mishkan, make the tabernacle for Hashem's sake, for Hashem, for Hashem's sake. So, and I was saying, how can we demand that each and every person should do it for Hashem's sake? Seems like maybe this is a little high and far off. Okay, so that was giving the explanation. The commandment to make the Mishkan, the tabernacle, came after we got the Torah. And when Hashem gave us the Torah, Hashem chose us to be his nation. He chose us from all the other people. When Hashem chose us, and he chose specifically our bodies, we became a nation, a Jewish nation. The Jewish nation became the chosen nation, yes, at the giving of the Torah. When Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, gave us the Torah, our bodies became holy. So even if we don't think so, it seems like our bodies look the same like everybody else, or there's nothing special to it. Every Jewish person's body is holy, which, by the way, it's very, very important to be buried proper according to Jewish law. It's very important not to donate organs. The whole body has to be whole and complete. And the body itself is very holy, when a person's alive or when a person passes on. And I thought of that just now, but if I thought of it, it needed to be said. And God forbid not to cremate. It's a very serious thing to cremate a Jewish body. Yeah, okay. And if somebody needs more information, they can contact me or the rabbi or look it up, because the Jewish body was chosen at Mount Sinai to be holy, and that's it. We're a holy nation. That's what we're called, a holy nation. Now it's known that until the time until the Torah was given, there was a gezerah, there was a decree that the spiritual was spiritual, physical was physical. The physical could not become spiritual, spiritual could not become physical. There was a big distinction between the two. Whereas when Hashem gave us the Torah, it became that we have a godly soul and we have a body, and even the soul and the body and Hashem are one. Hashem and Torah and the Jewish people are one in the physical world, which is an incredible concept. And from Torah on, each and every Jew, whether or not he looks like it, it doesn't matter what he looks like, could be full of tattoos, full of nose rings, whatever it is, doesn't look Jewish at all. If he's a Jewish person, whether or not he sinned, he's a Jewish person. He has a pintele yid, a Jewish little point to him. And from this, a person doesn't want to be disconnected from God and can never be disconnected from godliness. And this is one of the things that's brought in, I think it's in Tanya, I'm not sure. There is something that the Jewish person's neshama senses godliness, not necessarily at all times and all places, but there is something that the neshama does recognize godliness, and sometimes it comes out unexpectedly because it's something that's beyond rationale, it's beyond making sense. There's a pintele yid that's hidden in every Jewish person, no matter what, and he knows godliness. I was even like, whatever, I don't know if I should say this, but there was a joke the non-religious comedian was making. I said, he says, I'm a Jew, secular, he said, and it's, I have all the difficulties of being a Jew. I have the indigestion, I have the stress, I have the all these things, these, whatever the stereotype Jews, he was so funny the way he said it. I'm not so funny, but he was saying, I have all the difficulties that Jews have of being Jewish, but I don't have the godliness of it. I'm a secular Jew, which means I have all the tzaras of a Jew, all the anxieties and stresses of a Jew, all maybe the guilt or whatever it is, but I don't have the godliness. So even he was recognizing that by being secular, he's missing out if he doesn't have the godliness, which means he's beginning to realize that godliness is important, but he wasn't admitting it directly, but his neshama is recognizing that he's missing out on godliness. This is just just a little example. I thought that was cute. Anyway, the way he said it was funny. I'll have to figure out how to say it better. Anyway, so every Jew.
I think it was very cute and very funny. You said it beautifully.
Okay, good. Thank you. I was like, you know what? I said, what a manas. You know, he is recognizing without the godliness, and the fact that he had that courage to say that, it was just a random comedian saying it just to the public, to the world, just shows, you know, he's got the emes. He realized he's missing out on something.
How fabulous!
He desires it. Okay. Anyway, so until Matan Torah, you couldn't bring godliness down into the physical world. Physical world couldn't be elevated to godliness. Whereas when Hashem gave us the Torah, He made it possible through the Torah, we can connect our godly soul and the physical body to be merging in this physical world to make the world a holy place. Our body becomes holy and the world becomes holy. And so every Jew, whether or not he looks like he's holy or not, even if he sinned, he's a Jewish person. He has a Pintele Yid, he has a Jewish point, and he can't get disconnected from Hashem, and he doesn't really want to be disconnected to Hashem. As the Rambam says, every Jewish person's real desire is to fulfill God's will, and even if it looks sometimes otherwise, it's only his external side because his Yetzer Hara is controlling him. But really, internally, his inner will is to really stay connected. And more than this, the Rambam, Rebbe quotes Rambam again, that a person should learn Torah always, even if he doesn't have the right intention, even if he's doing it because for external reasons, like he wants a reward or doesn't want punishment, or even little kids, we teach them Torah even though they don't necessarily understand so much why they have to learn it, and they're not necessarily doing it for the best reasons. The whole point is that it trains us to serve Hashem from love, to come to knowing Hashem and serving Hashem, eventually from love. And the reason is because our inner desire, our pnimius, inner desire of each and every Jewish person is to serve Hashem truthfully. Now, there's one more thing that he says over here that's very important to remember. Right? We said when we do for Hashem, when we serve Hashem for Hashem's sake, we become like a new being. We can become a neshama in a body below, and no matter where or what, we're bringing godliness down into this physical world, and okay. But he does say like this: when we have this revealed that we're doing it for Hashem's will, which is our inner will, when we bring that out, we have this power to affect the world and make the world around us holy. So my understanding from this point that the Rebbe is bringing here is, if we want to affect the world and make a difference in the world and change the world, the way to do it, okay, I know Alyssa's here, if she's here. Alyssa's always asking about how can we affect the world, right? Alyssa's always like trying to get everybody in the world to understand Hashem. The Rebbe is saying here very clearly, when we do things for Hashem's will, not fulfill Hashem's will, we bring out our inner desire to serve Hashem just lishma, just for Hashem's sake, not for any other reason, that makes us able to have more power to affect the world around us. If you want, I'll read it to you from inside. Okay. I'll read it to you from inside word for word. From this we can understand how for each Jew, whether it's men, women, or children, we have a command and we have the power to make a mishkan for Hashem, a tabernacle for Hashem. What does that mean? Make a tabernacle for Hashem, that it has to be lishmi, for my name, Hashem says. Because through Matan Torah, through the giving of the Torah, a Jew becomes a new existing mitziut chadasha, a new existence. What does it mean, this existence? That even when it's a neshama down here in the body below, without looking at what level the person's on, even if he's doing Shalol Lishma, not for Hashem's sake, really, what the Rebbe says, their inner dimension really is Lishma, is for Hashem's sake, and really down deep below, we all want to do for Hashem without any reason and without any side reasons, not because there's a fear, or not because you're fearing bad things are going to happen, or you're doing it because you want a reward. You're doing it for the truth, for the emes, because this is the emes, this is the truth. And therefore, the person can have the power to affect that also the existence of the world, the Tachtanim, the lower world, could become a vessel of holiness and can become like the higher worlds. Like we said, the lower can become like the higher worlds, merged, until we make a dwelling place for Hashem here down below, like they did in the Mishkan, in the Beis HaMikdash, about which it said, V'shachanti b'tachan. So I had to read this a few times before it really hit me over here. If we really, really want to affect the world, Alyssa, it's by us doing things really just for Hashem's sake. And that affects the world down here below. And the Rebbe says we really want to do everything. And in our inner dimension, in our inner pnimius, we really do want to only do it for Hashem. So if we reveal that inner will, that will affect the world around us and make it a dwelling place for Hashem, a holy place. So now the Rebbe connects it to the gold. Okay, the gold. When Hashem says, and counts the things that the Jewish people brought, they started with gold. Why? Because it expresses the importance and the advantage of a Jew. The first thing that he brought from his thing, and it was zahav, was gold, which was very, very important, very precious. Gold, right, is one of the most precious things. Why the Rebbe says? Because the Jewish person's existence after Matan Torah is that even when he's in this physical world and he has to build a Mishkan and he needs silver and copper, etc., and he needs more silver and copper because that was more common and they needed more of that. Still, the first thing is, the Rebbe says, he is an Ashir Be'etzem. The Jewish person is essentially a wealthy person. He's the son of a king, and not even just the son of a king, he's a king himself. And his existence is what belongs to the Jew is gold, because he's such a high level, okay, that Asher Be'etzem, he's essentially a wealthy person, and therefore the first thing that he's bringing is gold. And meaning that the Rebbe is saying we're all wealthy, and we're also supposed to see ourselves as wealthy. And the first thing that we bring would be obviously the gold, even though we're going to all bring copper and silver in more abundance, but the gold is mentioned first because we're all gold. And this is something that in the footnote, remember that I said at the beginning, whoever wasn't here, there's a footnote there that's brought from the Zohar that says there's 10 names that the Jewish people were called. They're called Melachim, kings. Like we said, the Rebbe says, we're not just sons of kings, we're kings. We're called kings. So the footnote is from the Zohar. It says the Jewish people are called kings. They're called tzaddikim. They're called chozim, which are seers. Neviim, which are prophets. They're called marei Torah, teachers of Torah. Giborim, courageous, strong, powerful. Chasidim, righteous, okay. Nevonim, understander, and people understand. Chachamim, wise. Rasha of Esau, heads of tribes. So that's what all Jewish people are called. Now, more than that, the Rebbe says the gold expresses the advantage and the importance of a Jew in general. And it has to do with him bringing the donations and making the dwelling place within us. Meaning we have the power to make a dwelling place in us by each and every Jew, that even when he's below, down here, Lamata, we can bring Elyonim, the heavenly, the spirituality, the godliness, in the level of gold. Gold is considered, right? Gold standard. I think gold's gone down a little bit, but gold is always the gold standard, right? We want everything to be on the level of gold. So the Rebbe says, that's why gold is brought, because every Jew is gold, and every Jew is able to bring godliness in a high level on the level of gold. Okay. Right. So the Rebbe says the first thing when a Jew sees themselves, we're supposed to see ourselves as gold. Okay. So you look at another Jew. This Jew is gold. Okay. See ourselves, see others as gold. And therefore, we have this power to make a dwelling place for Hashem, making a mishkan, a tabernacle, because we have, this is our existence. Our existence is gold. Yesh Lomar. Now there has been another chidush, another insight. we say that this is maybe the reason, not maybe, the Rebbe says this is the reason why the Jewish people had so much gold and silver. Physically, as simply put, they had lots of gold and silver, and they do have lots of gold and silver. Not just have, the Rebbe saying in present, because Jewish people come from a very high level. I know there's a lot of anti-Semitism now. They say people are jealous of Jews that they have a lot of money. And they're like, some people might, are like, why is it that Jews always have so much money? I noticed that because also there was a response by somebody saying, I'm sorry, we have money. It's not because we're privileged in some way. It's because most of us came from the Holocaust, came from pogroms, ran away, fled. And most of us, our parents or our grandparents, came here penniless. So the Rebbe says over here, why do Jews have such wealth? Is because in essence, the Jews are gold. From our essential essence, we are wealthy. We're wealthy spiritually, on the level of gold. And because we're on a high level of spiritual wealth and gold, it draws down into our physical life that we're also physically wealthy with gold and have a lot of gold. Okay, so the Rebbe wants us to see ourselves as gold. We are spiritually on a high level of gold. Our neshama is like gold, and we are on this gold standard. And therefore, because spiritually we're gold, we have a lot of gold. And the Rebbe says, spiritually like gold, whether or not it seems like this by our behaviors that we are on this level of a Jew who's gold. I'm going to continue, but it seems two people raised their hand. So let me just see if I can figure this out. Maybe put it on. Okay, let me unmute you, Tova, Leah, and then Chana. Tova, yes. Let me unmute you. No? Yeah, there you go.
Can you
Yes.
hear me now?
Yes.
I'm just good. I'm a little concerned about saying Jews are gold, because I've seen a rise of anti-Semitism.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of concerned about going around having this talk and saying that we're gold because there's a huge fluctuation in anti-Semitism.
Uh-huh.
So right now, if you're telling us, like, if we're saying, and these Sikhs are saying we're gold, it could cause more anti-Semitism.
I see. Okay.
I'm just a little because
Good question. It's a good question.
because I mean, yeah, I'm just really a little concerned of that right now.
Yeah. Okay. I hear you. I don't know if I have a good answer for that. It's something to think about. It's interesting because I just watched a woman was giving an answer to this question of why Jews are wealthy, because some people are jealous. And she was saying, I'm sorry, we're not privileged, and we didn't, we're not wealthy because we did something wrong. We worked hard, is what she was saying. But I'm not full. Cassandra has a better answer. Let's hear your answer.
No, let me, in my opinion, it's something for us to know inside. It's not something for us to walk around and say, oh, we are gold and we are better. No, it's something that we need to know inside, that we have that malchus inside of us, and really not to fear. Bezrat Hashem is always with us, not to be afraid. That what I heard lately is we're so close to Mashiach that the Erev Rav is coming up and popping his head out from everywhere to try to destroy us because we're so close. So that's it. Not to be afraid.
You, Cassandra.
That Ikar, not to be afraid. That's it.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for joining on video. I don't know if everybody heard that. She was saying, first of all, it's the way she sees the message is, it's not necessarily something you want to broadcast, especially if you're not feeling good about it. Don't broadcast it. Okay, it's something for you to feel inside of you, feel like gold. Don't feel. A lot of us suffer from insecurities, from feeling less than, from feeling we don't deserve. I think what the Rebbe is saying, feel like you do deserve. You deserve wealth. You deserve wealth spiritually. You deserve wealth physically, financially. Hashem wants us to be on the highest level because we are from the highest level. So and not just spiritually on the highest level, possibly, but even physically in this physical world. Hashem wants us to be on the highest level, even on the level of this gold standard, the level of what the world would consider wealthy. Okay, so yeah. So I hope that answered. Let me see what Hannah was saying. Yeah.
Hi. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know how to. Here, I'll lower my hand. Okay. I wanted to ask just about doing things lishma. So I'm saying if you go down the rabbit hole, really nothing is lishma because everything ultimately will benefit ourselves. Meaning, like, if we want to say, sorry about the background noise. If we want to say that we could, like we're doing something, fulfilling our life mission or doing a project because we want it for Hashem. I don't know how far down the rabbit hole do we have to go, because part of it is for Hashem, and then another part of it is so that we could feel fulfilled and happy in this world, and which also Hashem wants from us. So
okay, so that's a very good question. I'm glad you asked that, because we could think less of ourselves. Who says we're doing things just for Hashem's sake? We enjoy it too, right? So, and Hashem does want us to enjoy it. So I think possibly maybe what they were really saying is that if we go into our inner core, we really, what he was saying is that we all really only want to do things really for Hashem. So if we tune into that part, that really to know that in our inner essence, we really are doing it really all for Hashem. We're not doing it because we're afraid of punishment or for reward. That's external part of ourselves that might get caught up in anxiety or fears or desires or lusts, but really inside of us, we're doing it because we really want to serve Hashem. So focus. I think that's something to recognize. So we don't have to worry, I guess, so much if we're doing it really for Hashem. I think that's what the Rebbe is saying is, don't worry about it. You're worthy of being, connected to Hashem, and you are connected to Hashem no matter what, and you're even doing it really in essence for Hashem. I think it's making it easy for us, not hard for us, okay? To see ourselves as good and gold and connected and everything. The Rebbe is trying to bring us, that's who we truly are. Okay, I want to bring this also, the Rebbe talks about joy. He connects this to other. So I do want to bring this in. Let me see, how much should I skip? I'm going to do this more in depth, I said, for whoever came late. On Zoom, I'll do it on this Zoom too, God willing, every morning, 6:30 this week, hopefully. Bli neder. I'm going to try to wake up on time and do 6:30, because it's a class that I'm just subbing for Tina Leb, Hamidina Zwiebel on, it's an East Coast class, but I'll put it on my Zoom because I'm teaching for her this week, and we'll do it word for word, God willing. Okay, so let's go. The Rebbe is saying, there's Shlomar, another chiddush, another insight of the Rebbe. And his explanation for all this is, and he's connecting it to Adar. So this month that we're coming in, the month of Adar it's a good mazel. There's some good energy this month. Okay, what's this chus and the mazel that everything can be transformed for good in this month? Okay, they say if you have a judgment, or if you have people, God forbid, if they need a surgery or whatever, it's a good month to schedule things that you need a special mazel for in this month. And it has a mazel of health and good things. So what's the beer? What's the explanation of this? The Rebbe says, in our source, in our essence, the Jewish people are really not subject to the mazels. We're not subject to the influences of the constellations and luck and this and that. We're beyond that. The chiddush of a Jew is more, that even when he comes down, the neshama comes down into a body, in the world of nature that goes by the rules of nature, and the body seems exactly like the bodies of the non-Jews, right? Everybody is living, it seems to be in the exact order and the exact, exact level of working within the world. Still, a person can be, the Rebbe says, on a level of ein mazali so. A Jewish person doesn't have a mazel, because he has the power, he has within him the power through prayer and through merits to change the mazel for good. So it's very interesting. There was a rabbi in town. He had a few children that needed to get married, that he wanted them to have the zchut to get married. He actually donated to my Beis Chana for Rebbe Simchana's Yortzeit when I had that we did an event in honor of Rebbe Tzimchana. I do it every year for her yahrzeit, and he donated, and he says, I want this to be the zchut of my children getting married. Okay, and he gave me the names. He gave for Bacha, and guess what? He had, right? He wanted to change the mazel, whatever it was. He wanted to bring the prayer and the zchut for his children, and he had that simple faith. And guess what? One of them just became Kala. She's an older girl, and it was like, he asked me not to say his name, so I'm not going to give his name. But I was very happy because it was like 3-4 months ago that he had that intention to change the mazel, whatever it was. So the Rebbe says like this: we all can change the mazel through prayer and through marriage. So I don't want to skip, because this is a good point. Right. Because we have a power that's higher than mazel, and we're not controlled by our mazel. We have a power to go beyond our mazel. Now, the Chiddush, there's something new that happens in this month of Adar, which says, right, it has a good mazel. There's something even more that happens in this month. Even a person, when he's singular and he's, let's say down below, according to the laws of nature, he's connected to his mazel, and he's going by the, being careful of there's less mazel, there's more mazel. And when he comes immediately into this month, even if he doesn't do anything, because he has the mazel of Adar, he's the mazel of being healthy, even he can notice it and the world can notice it. Non-Jews can notice it and can sense it and can feel it. So the Rebbe is saying, tune in. If you tune in, anybody can tune in and see this is a good month. This is a month that even if you didn't do anything, you didn't pray, and you didn't make a zchut, you're going to have a good mazel, God willing, this month. And the Rebbe says, looking at it internally, the inner pirush, the inner explanation is ein mazali, so that ein could be also read ayin. Ayin is nullification. It's like being in a place of wonder and openness. And nullification, meaning we're not expecting or deciding or knowing. We're open to Hashem, what Hashem wants. That's Ayin. So this chiddush in this is that it's not just above this mazel, but the mazel comes down below. It's drawn down, and as the person is here in this physical world where there is certain laws of nature and mazels, and there's the month of Adar that has more or less, right? It has more. We like we said before, each Jew inside of him has this inner desire, inner will to do Hashem's will, and it expresses itself in that his mazel is healthy, his mazel is strong and healthy, and it's revealed even to the whole world and to the Jewish people. Now, what the Rebbe was exactly referring to, there's a hinting over here that I'm not 100% sure what the Rebbe was trying to say over here. Something must have been going on also at that time, during that month. It's something maybe I should investigate some more. Maybe during this week we'll find out more. But if anybody knows, Alyssa or anybody here wants to, Randy, you want to look into this? You're welcome, Randy, to find out maybe more what the Rebbe was talking about, that he was explaining so strong that even the non-Jewish people can see that in this month there's a strong mazel, and it's revealed whether or not we did anything or didn't do anything. This month we have a good mazel. So the Rebbe is saying now, this month of Adar, where things have a good mazel.
Yehudis, that's beautiful. Thank you,
Yeah.
Yehudis. I heard what you said. It's absolutely beautiful, and I hear what you're saying, because with Klal Yisrael, 100%, when we show up the way that we do, and we see around ourselves, not only tunnel vision, right? If you show, and I have a lot of pictures, I didn't put it on our chat, but if you show a non-Jewish person that you see them and you wish them well, right? And you open your mind and your heart to extend yourself. That doesn't mean you have to make anyone your best friend or anything like that, which you can if you wish. But I heard such a story, Yehudis, that I visited last night a veteran who's over 90 plus years old, okay? I'll share it. He was in Germany, literal German. His family, his mother and father, originated from Germany. and it was 1939 before Kristallnacht. He was a medical supply manufacturer, provider for the Goyim as well. And the Goyim were the ones that warned him to get out. Okay, said, listen, there's things going on here, even though I think his uncle had already left, but they were trying to help him. So I go back to the stories that we hear for the very special Goyim that helped the Yidden out of Germany. And I'm sure there's other places as well where we've seen this. But when we do the right thing, show respect, kavod to another human being that Hashem created, non-Jew alike, I believe we have a chance to stand stronger. If we treat them differently and don't give a level of understanding and respect, why at all would they ever try to do right by us? Because then they're going by that old adage that chas v'shalom, we think we're better people. We know we're chosen people, but that's gotten the Yidden into a lot of problems, let's say. When I say that I'm no different than anyone else when I meet a non-Jew, I know what that means. Hashem knows what I'm talking about. I'm not marrying the man, but to my soul. But when those words come out and get exercised, all of a sudden you see a smile in their face. You watch their eyes go different. They're seeing that a Jew is saying, Mamish, oh, look, she's a Jew, but she's a nice one. She doesn't have horns, or whatever he may say. So or she, and I don't know. I'm just joking. This needs to be activated within ourselves. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. It's an inner, like Cassandra was saying, it's an internal consciousness. The Rebbe wants us to change our worldview about ourselves, to our own inner, how we relate to ourselves, how we see ourselves. If we see ourselves as strong, healthy, wealthy, givers, generous, abundant, it's an abundance mentality. One thing I left out before was Zahav is the Rashi Tevos, it's the acronym of Zeh Hanoten Bari. This one who gives is healthy. And in the footnotes, it explains there's 3 times a person could give. He could give if he's in a state of wealth, of meaning spiritually wealthy, means that he's just giving because he wants to give. Hashem wants him to give. So he gives. He doesn't need anything, right? It's lishma. Then there's a state of kesef, is when a person gives, when he silver, it's because he needs something out of it. Like he's sick, and so he's giving a donation because he's sick, or he's helping somebody because he needs something reciprocated. So that's a lower level of, it's called level of silver. And the lowest level is to give after one leaves this world after 110, he inherits his money. So the highest level of giving money is at level of gold, which he said, is the Rebbe says, is really our true state. That if we see ourselves, in truth, we all really want to do Hashem's will, and we really all want to give, not for any reason other than because this is to serve Hashem, make Hashem's desire well. So Randy wrote, giving from spiritual wealth, giving if he is also in need, giving after they leave this world. Yeah, that's gold, silver, and copper. So the highest level, when the Rebbe is saying we're gold, is to see ourselves as givers in abundance, givers because we have spiritual and physical, and givers not because we need something out of it, but we're giving because we really want to do Hashem's will. That's when what the Rebbe is referring to when he says we're gold and we're giving, we're givers of, we're on the level of gold. Yes, we always be on the side of giving. Okay,
you heard this. You also, 100%. Like we talk about this all the time. The one that is giving is the one that's blessed first. Whether you're giving a bracha, whether you're giving your time, your energy, when you see another human being, what ends up happening? Your neshama, our neshamas get lit in a different way. Hashem created the world where that word of giving, that word of gratitude, that word of tzedakah, it has such a vibration because we as a human being in the action is healed first, regardless of the reason behind the giving. We are put into a different state of mind when you access your giving side. I feel that's how come the Rebbe gave out dimes and dollars, and I mean I'm really taking this on in a very different light lately.
Yes, I think in many ways, not just in the Sikha, the Rebbe was trying to get us to like you said, be givers, and to see ourselves as we're givers, and to see ourselves as, you go into a situation, you don't say, why is this happening for me, but why am I here for? And the Rebbe wanted each of us to be leaders, to be givers, to see a person, well, not how are they treating me, how am I treating them? Not how am I going to react to their treatment, but how am I going to affect an influence on other people, on another person? Jonathan Sachs, you know the well-known story of Jonathan Sachs, yeah? It was very, you don't?
No, tell it, Yehudis, please.
Yeah, right. Jonathan Sachs, he told the story, I think at the Shulchan convention one year also. He Alav Shalom, he's right. He when he was a young college student, he happened to somehow come to Yechidus by the Rebbe, and he wasn't a Lubavitcher. He was just a religious college student, but he was trying to figure out which way and direction to go in life. And the Rebbe encouraged him to become a rabbi. And he didn't think he was necessarily, that was befitting for him, that he was on that level. But he mentioned something to the fact that he's, I don't remember the exact wording, but he found himself in a situation, and the Rebbe transformed his way of looking at it. And he says, you don't find yourself in a situation. You create the situation. And he always remembered that. It was a good lesson for him, and the Rebbe encouraged him to go into rabbinics, into being a rabbi, and because of that he did, and he became this most world famous, cherished, and he attributed it to the Rebbe's encouragement when he was a young student. So this is kind of what the Rebbe is doing here for each and one of us. He's saying you're all, and your inner essence, you're all givers. And you're all giving for the right reason. And see yourself as gold, and see yourself as a giver. You're not a shlemazel who needs people to help you to do things and can't poor me, I can't take care of things. You have all this inner strength and inner power. And not only that, the Rebbe says you can change your mazel with prayer and with schus. But even if you didn't change your mazel with any prayer and schus, just you coming into the month of Adar, and you're just in the month of Mazel Dika month where you can experience that you're gonna win, you're gonna triumph, you're gonna have good Mazel. So the Rebbe,
you know what, Yehudis? Amen, yes. Amen. The Rebbe Sikha is beautiful, and it's a great reminder that you're right. We're not Shlemazels. We're not like nebbish people. We do need to be inspired with each other. I feel this constantly. I know Hashem has given me my gifts for sure. Like He's given every other Yid a gift. There is no difference between me and anyone else. And why I love the Rebbe's ways is because he never saw a difference between this word religious and this word spiritual and this word Chabad. He saw a Yid soul, because each and every one of us are on a journey. That journey is unique to itself. And the biggest thing we do, which I pray no one does, we compare ourselves. Oh, that's what we're not supposed to do. Oh, that person knows so much more than me. Oh, that person dresses so much better. Oh, that's nonsense. Because if you go back to the true Rebbe's teachings, he never saw a Yid that way. And we're not supposed to either. That's not, Kiddush Hashem. That's being judgy. So when we get rid of that, we don't know what another person on this chat has potential to share with us. It could be life-changing, but you have to be in a safe enough space to say, hey, can I help you? Or, hey, can you help me? Nothing's wrong with that. But people are so afraid to look vulnerable. How do we know what someone else has to share their mazel with us, right? We have our own, like you said, Yehudis. But how do you know how gorgeous it is if we share it? That's just my thought. I don't know. You inspire me all the time.
No, I know, Randy. You've been pushing that in that we need to not be embarrassed. And so that's what the Rebbe is saying over here. Really, don't be embarrassed, because inside of you, you're pure gold. And inside of you, you really just want to serve Hashem with your full heart. And definitely, you're okay. I do want to bring a little bit more of the Rebbe's words, because it's so beautiful and encouraging. He's connecting to Adar and Simcha and more of this concept of our inner strength. Says the greatest joy we're coming into Adar, we're supposed to add in Simcha, the Rebbe says. Simcha, the greatest joy that a Jewish person can have is when he knows that in every situation that he's in, right, you don't find yourself in a situation, whatever situation you're in, even if you're down, below, down, below, and you're in the world that looks externally, it looks like God is not there, God is hidden, can't see the godliness in the situation. Still, we have to know we're connected. Each Jew is connected to Hashem. And even if he's of a soul in the body, he here is still God's only child. Ben Yachid of Shmelch Melchem Melchim, of the King of Kings Hashem. And Hashem says to him that you are the most precious thing I have. You're my gold, right? That even in this physical world where physical things are important, each and every Jewish person is ashir. He is wealthy physically and spiritually and physically. So that's what the Rebbe is saying. We have to see ourselves as wealthy. We have abundance. We have spiritual abundance and we have physical abundance, even if we don't feel that way. Even if Hashem it seems like Hashem is hiding himself, we got to look at who we are. We're really pure gold. That's the instruction of the Rebbe from this pressure. And then he says, when we come to the month of Adar, we're supposed to increase, according to the Gemara, right? To add it, increase in joy. The Rebbe says this added joy, if we do an Adar, can have an effect on the other month, or it says that you're supposed to reduce in joy. The adding in joy of this month should have an effect on all the other months and that month also later on. And when a Jew looks that at this, he becomes very joyous, very, very simcha gdola b'yasar, a great abundant joy. And this joy can change the person's life, right? Your physical life. The Rebbe is saying, take heed, because when you're happy, it's going to change your physical life until it fits into the parameters of the physical world, that you'll have a better life in the physical world as the world dictates. Why? Joy permeates and affects each and every aspect of the person. When a person is happy, he's living a happy life. This joy has an effect on all his actions. Everything that he comes in touch with, he's able to make other people happy too around him. If a person's happy, he can make other people happy too. It can affect them. This joy brings success in everything that he does, and everything that in his life becomes successful. Like we see in actuality, we see that you're coming to a meeting with the happiness. You're coming to another person and you're happy. It's going to make them happy, and it's going to make your activities successful. Meaning, the Rebbe says, aside from having the joy, you have a spiritual advantage. You become a ben olam haba. You merit the world to come, like he says. Like we're taught, and he quotes the teachings. Still, you also become a ben olam hazeh. He says, the Rebbe says, you also become a person who merits this world too. In truth, in amiti, truthfully, that your life in this physical world becomes true life that are happy and successful. Okay? So I think I'm going to end here. It's not the whole frita. You can join in the mornings if you want to get more and more from it, but that's the crux of it.
Could I interject and say something?
Yes.
Thank you so much. This was such a beautiful sikha and such a beautiful teaching. I love that it had both parts, of, like what you started with, that each of us have to view not only that we're b'nei malachim, that we're sons of kings, but that we're malachim ourselves. And that's such an amazing analogy for what the Rebbe is teaching, because a melech has his riches not only for himself but for his people that he serves. And that's what the Rebbe is bringing out here. It's that whenever I'm seeing Hasidus in general is very much into bittul, that it's not only about you, that you're here for, that it's not only about you. So meaning we're here to be beautiful and gold, not only for ourselves but for the people around us. And I feel like that allows us to embrace it more. And he also brings into the other idea that we are sons, and that Hashem wants to take care of us, and we, that we having, being totally taken care of physically is a huge form of being taken care of. So
yes,
just really
I like that point. Remind ourselves that Hashem is taking care of us. Yes, Hashem is taking, but together with that, Hashem wants us to initiate. And our initiation is through recognizing that we have all the powers to make things good for ourselves. And because we have essentially, we're like you said, we're leaders. We can optimize things because we have that ability to affect ourselves and those around us and bring goodness to the situation. So we have that free choice, and we have that ability, and we have the power, and we have the inspiration. And if we're motivated to bring out our best, we can do it. The Rebbe says. So which is it's very encouraging, because the mentality that there was in maybe 100, 200, 300, back was like, just accept if you're suffering, right?
It wasn't so long ago. It's nowadays too.
That's it. That's that mentality that it says it's gone. Right. We're powerfully potent optimizers and givers. We're gold givers. We're not gold diggers, we're gold givers. And we have that power to bring out the best in ourselves and in others by being happy, just being happy. Being happy, realizing our abilities, realizing how much we've got. It's amazing. So, give us all a bracha. You, Randy, and Chana, and everybody who's here, Cassandra already who spoke, Alyssa, Leona Tova, and whoever left. You and me and all of us should just feel like gold this month, feel healthy, feel wealthy, feel abundant, feel like givers, feel like we're really here to serve Hashem and not question ourselves, not doubt ourselves, not let any room for anything other than total joy.
Wow, amen. B'simcha only. And you know what? That's not, it's gorgeous. It's not to say that things that happen around us, there are issues that arise and can arise, but we can just ask Hashem to turn those issues in a blink of an eye.
Yes.
Because there is truth in difficulties, right? And we don't know why we have them. Hashem, if we go there, if we're able to really get to this place, Hashem has a purpose that we don't know, but I don't wish anyone suffering mental, physical, gashmias, ever, never. And I constantly ask Hashem to rid us of that by bringing Mashiach, but also for us, like you say, Yehudis, to activate ourselves in a way that even if we, God forbid, run into struggles, don't feel alone. There's have to go to Hashem, of course, the Rebbe, of course, but please let people know that there are others out there that do care, even if it's listening ear or something, that we're not alone. And that's how Am Yisrael Chai, there's a reason for it, right? Love your neighbor like you love yourself. That in itself brings someone relief. Like how often do we not even take, and I say this again and again, you heard this, I don't want to bore you, but how often do we not how often do we not take a breath? And I'm including myself, even in silence. How often do we not just do this? That to me is pure simcha, that our lungs are working, something that minute. And I just want that share too, right? Just because joy comes from the most simplest places, walking, getting up, taking a drink of water, saying a bracha, you're right, serving Hashem with joy, because every day we wake up, Modeh Ani, He wants us here. So what does that mean for us? But B'simcha, Yehudis, I'm so glad that I saw this WhatsApp, because I truly needed this infusion. So Yasher Koach to you, all the brachas for everything you touch, and you look beautiful today too. So it's great to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chani. So beautiful.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your enthusiasm and your passion, and we'll go more in depth into this because it does talk about those moments where you're feeling the darkness and not necessarily feeling that you're this abundant, radiating, wealthy, right? It takes a focus.
Yehudis, we always have to get back to what you were mamish talking about. Those things are real. I just brought that forward so people don't go into a state of like, well, what if I don't feel that way today?
Yes.
The only way to get back to that goal, to that malchus, is to go back to the MS that we are gold. So thank you for saying that. That's the road. Until Mashiach comes, where everything is good. What you're saying, mamish medicine. The medicine is to say we are gold. We are Hashem's children. We were brought here. No question. Without that and the Rebbe's words and the sikha you brought out today, we can't move through anything. So thank you. But we always have to return to the gold.
Yes. That the trauma, God forbid, when a person has trauma, they're disconnected from their inner essence of feeling good about themselves, feeling that they're gold, feeling connected. Trauma is, God forbid, a feeling of disconnect, feeling less than, feeling never able to heal or ever able to be whole or ever able to be abundant. And that's healing. I think this sikha it helps us heal the trauma of feeling less than, or feeling unworthy, or feeling incapable, or this is what the avodah of this sikha, I believe is. So I am looking forward to doing more during the week and discussing this topic more and more. And God willing. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being
Thank you.
part of this. And
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. All the brachas for everyone, really. Only simcha,
Yes.
please, Hashem. And we
Yes.
only share good news.
And if any of you want to be on my WhatsApp that I'll send you this weekly reminder, you can send me a message, basechana770@gmail, and I'll add you to the WhatsApp so you don't randomly get it. I can put you on the weekly reminder. Yeah.
Oh, and we're gonna see you on YouTube.
Hopefully, yes. God willing.
Bye, Shavua
Okay.
Tov. Thank
Shavua
you.
Shavua Tov, guys. All
Thank
the
you.
brachas, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shavua
Take care.
Tov.
We will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yehudit, I want to come and check my mezuzahs.
Okay, we're here
Chodesh
today.
Tov. Chodesh
What?
Tov, Ma-
We're here today if you want to drop it off. My husband's
Oh,
here.
okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'll see.
Yeah.
Bli neder. Love
Yeah.
you. Bye.
yeah. The sooner you come, the better, because he's getting very busy.
Okay, very good.
But
Thank
right
you.
now he's free.
So
if you
come to
come-
Beis Hana. Come to
No,
Beis
come to
Hana.
my apartment.
I see.
I'll
Okay,
send
well,
you, I'll
text
send
me
you
the
my address on
address.
my phone. He's here today.
Okay, please
until
do.
mincha.
Text me
Okay.
your address. Thank you,
Okay.
my love.
Oh,
All
Baruch
the
Hashem,
best.
he got
Bye.
back. Oh,
Bye.
Baruch Hashem.
Yes, Baruch
He's back.
Hashem.
He's back from Israel. Oh, good.
Yes, yes, he came back Thursday. Baruch Hashem. Yes,
Yay.
with the visa
Baruch
and lots of
Hashem.
miracles.
Amen, amen, amen. Anyway, Chodesh Tov, only good
Chodesh
things.
Tov.
Marbim b'simcha.
Thank you for
Okay, thank
joining. Take care.
you. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.